Hi, fourth graders. I'm going to go through a review of Shirley Chapter 7, all the concepts and ideas we've talked about throughout this chapter. There's a lot in this chapter, you guys, so please feel free to come and talk to me if you need some extra help. I'm just going to give a brief overview. We're still going to be reviewing before the test, but this should help a little bit. All right, one of the main things we covered this chapter was conjunctions. So a conjunction is a word that joins other words or groups of words together. We want to think of conjunctions like the glue that helps stick two ideas together. So for example, bread and butter, dogs or cats. In those examples, and or are our conjunctions. In our classifying sentences, we're going to label conjunctions with a C. A specific kind of conjunctions we talked about are coordinate conjunctions. These join two ideas with the same level of importance. So like two subjects, two verbs, two adverbs, two complete sentences together. The coordinate conjunctions we talked about are and, or, and but. These conjunctions can play a couple roles within a sentence. They can connect words. For example, I like peanut butter and jelly. They can give another choice. Is it day or night? And they can show contrast. That snake is beautiful but dangerous. Compound parts are going to be labeled with a C, and they're going to be added to our usual labels. So a conjunction can join two, for example, two subjects in a sentence, and those are considered compound subjects. So those would be labeled CSN. It can join two pronouns in a sentence, and that can be labeled CSP for compound subject pronoun. They can join two verbs, two adverbs, two adjectives, and two objects of the preposition. When a conjunction is used to combine two of these parts of speech, we call them compound parts. All right, another main topic we covered this chapter were clauses. So a clause is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate. They're used to make different types of sentences. An independent clause has a subject and a predicate. It makes a complete thought, and it can stand alone as a sentence by itself. For example, the dogs slept in the barn. A dependent clause has a subject and a predicate, but it does not express a complete thought. It cannot stand alone as a sentence. It depends on an independent clause in order for it to make sense. So a dependent clause might say, when the dog slept in the barn. I need more information for this to be a complete sentence. We talked about three different kinds of sentences. The first kind were simple sentences. A simple sentence is made up of an independent clause. You must capitalize the first word and add an end mark. So the dog slept in the barn with a capital letter and an end mark. That becomes a simple sentence. Simple sentences can have compound parts. They can have compound subjects, compound verbs. They can also have compound adjectives, adverbs, things like that. That can be part of a simple sentence. We also learned about compound sentences. So these sentences are made by joining two independent clauses together. The boy threw a stick, his dog ran after it. There's two ways we can join these together. We can combine them using a coordinate conjunction, and, or but, and a comma after the first clause. So the boy threw a stick, comma, and his dog ran after it. We can also combine these two clauses into a compound sentence using a semicolon. So remember, a semicolon is like a little less than a period, more than a comma. So no other punctuation is required in that case. So the boy threw a stick, semicolon, his dog ran after it. The third kind of sentences we learned about were complex sentences. These sentences are made by joining an independent clause and a dependent clause. So the two different types of clauses, one of each. So my mom was very happy after she found her keys. Subordinate conjunctions are words that are going to go at the beginning of a dependent clause. So words like after, although, so that, though, you can see the list there. We can make a complex sentence in two ways. We can have the dependent clause first and a comma after it. So after she found her keys, comma, my mom was very happy. Or the dependent clause can go last and the end mark is after it. In this case, you do not need a comma in the middle of the sentence. My mom was very happy after she found her keys. You see, in both cases, the subordinate conjunction after is used at the beginning of the dependent clause. One big thing we've learned to do this chapter is identifying sentences. So if you would look over this chart, it is just an example of the different kinds of sentences we learned how to identify. Remember that this exercise happens separately from our classifying. This is a separate exercise. So we are given a sentence. We have to decide, is it a simple sentence? Is it a simple sentence with a compound subject, with a compound verb? Is it a compound sentence, a complex sentence, or a fragment? I will give you some more tips for these in class on Monday. Please use this video to kind of review the information that we have covered, and I look forward to reviewing more with you in class. Feel free to contact me with any questions or come for extra help. Thank you.